T.I.'s son, King. King Harris has been arrested after not appearing in court and some other things connected to his actions.
Still trying to coddle him for. Let the man walk off, have some time to himself, sit down, soak it up, and come up with what he need to do.
We rarely see a celebrity saga spiral this dark even for the Harris family, known for their long history of public chaos. But tonight, King Harris is fighting for his life in intensive care, badly beaten after what insiders describe as a calculated ambush inside a Georgia prison. Sources say he was barely conscious when guards rushed him under heavy security to the infirmary, as officers scrambled to contain a full-blown riot that erupted in his block. Right now, the Harris household is in full-blown crisis phones ringing non-stop, frantic conversations, and no clear plan ahead. And make no mistake, this wasn't just some random scuffle.
He's like that, so him being arrested isn't really like the shocker, it's him coming out and his, I guess, reaction to it, right? Because everybody's saying, King, you grew up privileged, bro. Why are you going down this path? Now he's talking about F the police, F12, so, you know, it just, he.
According to insiders, this wasn't some random brawl, it was a calculated setup, a payback mission, maybe even a cold reminder that behind prison walls, fame means nothing. The internet exploded within minutes, feeds flooded with theories, speculation, and non-stop commentary about long brewing beefs finally catching fire. One insider close to the Harris family claimed King had been marked for humiliation from day one. A contact within prison staff even painted him as a target resented for his last name, ridiculed for trying to stand on business, and dismissed as too soft for real prison politics. Others say he was warned to keep his head down, but instead his loud persona and flashy image only drew more enemies. And when those threats finally turned into reality, that's when T.I. snapped into overdrive working phones around the clock, calling lawyers, political connections, even old rivals with influence in the Georgia system. One Atlanta source put it bluntly:
I wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't for Family Hustle. Right. That does come with some, you know, it's some adversity. It's some adversity to come with that. People get in your business.
Yeah.
I graduated. That's the only good thing they posted of me going viral. I'm not on the media's good side. I don't know why, but
T.I. is ready to cut any check, make any deal, just to pull King out before it's too late. But behind the scenes, even the self-proclaimed King of the South looks shaken. At the same time, Tiny has been orchestrating publicists and lawyers like she's leading a full-on war campaign. Yet insiders whisper that the Harris family's unity is starting to crack. Close friends say arguments between T.I. and Tiny have turned explosive. No one's sure if they're fighting to save their son or fighting each other under the crushing pressure. And the whispers only get darker. Some insiders claim this wasn't just petty beef at all, that it might have been connected to a failed contraband deal. Rumor has it King either refused to cooperate or tried to finesse the wrong clique. And in prison, that kind of move is punished in blood. One source insists he was deliberately set up, cornered, and jumped by at least 3 inmates right as the cameras mysteriously cut out. The Department of Corrections denies any glitch, but a former road manager for T.I. summed it up bluntly. Asterisk.
Steve Sadar reached out to me looking to make a deal on behalf of T.I. and Tiny. And I told Steve Sadar that my clients want justice. So if the deal involves Tiny and T.I. turning themselves in and admitting to the crime that they've committed, then fine, we got a deal. But if it does not, then I would prefer to have the investigators do their work and to bring criminal charges against Tiny and T.I.
This is Georgia cameras malfunction exactly when they need to. And that's not the only shadow trailing King behind bars. His family's past has made him an even bigger target. The trafficking allegations that once haunted T.I. and Tiny still hang heavy in the public's memory. Sabrina Peterson, the ex-friend who first lit that fire, even threatened to drop receipts that could drag King into the scandal too. The feds never pressed charges, but in the court of public opinion, that stain never washed away. Add in whispers of a hidden ledger, broken deals, and snitching rumors, and suddenly, King isn't just another inmate, he's a magnet for every grudge and score waiting to be settled. The label refuses to comment, but insiders in prison life say the same thing. The price for crossing the wrong people is always paid in blood. Meanwhile, back home, the family drama is reaching a breaking point. Sources describe T.I. and Tiny's marriage as a ticking time bomb, Tiny pushing for a softer, quieter strategy while T.I. insists on force, power, and connections to save their son. One insider swears this is the ugliest storm they've ever faced. Worse than lawsuits. Worse than the TV show's cancellation. Even worse than that infamous Falcons game headlock moment. Fans still remember T.I. yanking King into a headlock on Instagram Live, shouting, "You are embarrassing yourself and your family." At the time, it felt like rock bottom. But now, with King in a hospital bed and the family's secrets spilling online, it feels more like a warning of what was coming. Inside prison, the danger is more than physical, it's psychological. Every stare, every rumor, every whispered word chips away at you. And King walked in already carrying a target. Some inmates saw the private schools, the reality TV stardom, the luxury lifestyle, and felt nothing but resentment. Others mocked his attempts to act hard, knowing his reality looked nothing like the streets he rapped about. And that tension is nothing new. It's the same pattern for high-profile inmates. Fame doesn't protect you, it paints a bullseye. Celebrities who step behind bars don't walk in with privilege. They walk in as bait. King tried to run from that privilege, creating a persona separate from his family's money. In songs and interviews, he swore he hustled, struggled, and learned the codes on his own. "I stand on business," he repeated again and again. But respect isn't inherited. And the ones who try too hard are usually the first to get tested. Friends say even before prison, King was constantly on edge, one moment loud and reckless. The next flashing unexpected vulnerability. It was like every day King was walking an invisible tightrope, trying to prove himself against a test no one could see. That rope finally snapped under the weight of prison politics. Now administrators are scrambling to relocate him, not just for his own safety, but to stop others from cashing in on his name. On the outside, T.I. is locked in a desperate push for early release. But the public is split. Supporters flood timelines with prayers, while critics call it karma, arguing this is just a silver spoon kid paying the price for a mask that never fit. And that's the twisted parable at the center of it all. Each headline blurs the line between victim and architect. Was King crushed under the weight of a family legacy too heavy to carry? Or did he run headlong into the fire, believing fame would shield him? Behind closed doors, lawyers burn the midnight oil. Relatives argue over strategy. And every new leak only pours gasoline on the flames. Even the other Harris kids are dragged into the storm rumors about paternity. Old family grudges all resurfacing under the spotlight. The line between private heartbreak and public spectacle doesn't exist anymore. And when you strip away the money, the PR spin, and the celebrity shine, the truth is simple. Inside those walls, the only real currency is power, asterisk.
So the dynamics here are interesting, but I can't judge how the parenting is gone, because everything that we've seen has been stuff that many of us would have said or similar if we saw our children do this. But I will say this, a lot of what's happening is because it's in the public. Like most children don't have to do this in the public.
Asterisk, what began as a scuffle has now exploded into a fight for survival, not just for King, but for the Harris legacy itself. And here's the wild part. The darkest details of that ambush still haven't seen daylight. Whispers of secret deals, rivalries, and backroom betrayals are locked away for now. But when they surface, the fallout could rattle the Harris name like never before. So we're left with the question, does this mark the start of King's redemption arc or the collapse of an entire dynasty? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is King just another casualty of family fame? Or is there something much deeper fueling this chaos? Make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Start Channel, because when it comes to the Harris family, the next twist is always closer than you think.